What's up, YouTube? Adam Grover coming back at you with another video. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been out here since 11 or 12, I guess, minus a run to Wawa. That was to get fuel. So there's fuel in it. Check the fuel system. Had a ton of leaks. Of course, I'm the idiot that put all 4 gallons of fuel in the cell. Evidently, I never tightened up any of the fuel lines. Not to mention that the fitting in the cell was loose as well. So that was a disaster, obviously. Got that taken care of, though. It's all fixed. Then went on to my next leak, which was the main line coming into my Y into my rails. I'll actually show you what I'm talking about. That fitting right there, it was actually leaking out of the back of the fitting where the line goes into the fitting. So I quick disconnected that, pulled it out of the car because none of the lines are tied up yet. I took it to the back of the car, cut it, had another fitting laying here, put that on. That's good. Next thing, priming the key, have no leaks, and I got the fuel pressure regulator almost maxed out. And I'm only getting like 30 pounds of fuel pressure. Now I would have put my life on it if you asked me if I changed the spring and the regulator. Well, it's a good thing I didn't, because I'd be dead right now if that was a thing. So, found out that I didn't change that, which I really think I did, but I don't know. I guess I didn't, because I was only getting 30 pounds of fuel pressure and I had the adjustment maxed. So I changed that spring. I had it sitting in the car, so I would think if I did change it, it wouldn't have been in the car, but I guess, like I said, I didn't change it. So explains why it was sitting in the car, ready to go. Changed that, shot right up to 60 pounds, so I adjusted that down to 50. Everything else seems to be good as far as leak-wise. There's nothing leaking. Rails are tight. No leaks there that I see. So fuel system, checked off the list. It's done. Should be good. I started doing all the vacuum lines and hoses. I'm waiting on a fitting to go into the back of the spacer. I'm going to tap this. It's got a hole drilled in it already, so I'm going to tap that, put a fitting in that. I got to get a T for this. I just use this to quick mock this up. I got to get a T for that, And then all that stuff, everything's hooked up. Boost gauge is hooked up, mounted now. My regulator's hooked up. I got a 4-port vacuum adapter. I got a T here, so that way it goes to the booster, so everything's fed right off that intake right there. I got to cap this. I might actually pull the throttle body off, tap it, and put a little cap in that. I still got to do my drain for the oil pan. And then I got to figure out the starter, because the starter, when I use it with the key, it clunks. However, if I push it here, it don't even engage. So I don't know if the starter's bad or what's going on there. I got to figure that out. It's either going to be wiring or the starter took a crap and it's not pushing the appendix out. I still got to do something with this crank sensor bracket. I'm not done with that, so that stuff isn't even together yet. However, it's getting there. Tomorrow I got some stuff to do, but hopefully I can get out here to kind of play with this and figure out the starter issue. Maybe I can do this pan if I can get a punch big enough to go through the pan and put my fitting in, which I think fell, and I have no idea where it went. So hopefully I can find that. It's got to be here somewhere. I had it sitting right on top of this box, and everything on top of this box, I guess, fell from pumping the tires up on the car. So, that's pretty much what I got going on here. And then I'll be on to the next 50 million things I got to do to get it ready. But one thing at a time. So I want to address a couple misconceptions that popped up. My last video, when I say things, I know what I'm talking about because, you know, it's in my mind. However, sometimes I might not explain them the best. So, first things first. For those wondering, this is a 302 Ford small block. And I'm not trying to offend anybody or make anybody feel bad. That's not what this is about. I just want to clarify what I got going on here because it could be confusing when you read stuff and, you know, I could see where confusion could lie. So this is a 302 small block Ford engine that is in this car. It uses an LS wiring harness and a Megasquirt MS3 Pro computer system. But this harness is all LS. So this will go on a 48, 53, 60, 62, you name it, anything LS based, this harness will work. These coils, LS coils. Alright? Now that being said, you can take this harness, and what I did, I made a pigtail here, made my own little harness. This is actually the harness off of this crank sensor here. This is a Ford style crank sensor. It's a Hall effect sensor. It's just when I say Ford style, it's how it mounts. But this is a Hall effect sensor. And you wire it into a pigtail and plug it in to the crank sensor on the LS harness. Now, cam sensor, same deal. This is a Holley or MSD. They're owned by Holley now, but MSD cam sync. So there's no distributor. It's got a cam sync. This is going to tell the computer when to fire the coils. Same deal. You wire the pigtail on it. You plug it in. That's it. As long as it's wired right, it'll read. Then you got to sync it. There's a way to sync it. Maybe I'll go over that in the future. It's still something I have to play with. I haven't gotten there yet. Now, this will be my cam signal. So this should tell everything when these two are going to communicate, for one, crank and cam. We're going to communicate to the computer. It's going to tell it when to fire. This is an LS style throttle body, so everything just plugged right in. These are cheap. That's why I got it and made this work. Made this bracket. This is a universal cable to fit LS style throttle body. Alright. This elbow is a 4150 Edelbrock elbow. Do not go off the part number because I modified this to work with this. So if you see the part number and just think you can use this, you can't. This is all modified. This was all TIG welded, drilled, tapped to fit this throttle body. Alright, there's a lot of work done to that plenum. I got it secondhand. It was brand new, never used. And I bought it. I think I paid like $80 or $100 for it maybe. And I did all that. Made it work. Alright. This sensor here, this is my map sensor. This is, I think, a Holley sensor that I used. Same deal. I had to rewire this into my MS3 LS harness. These are Bosch injectors, so it's a forward style injector. They plugged right in, no problem. If you ask me EV1, EV2, whatever, I don't even know off the top of my head. I'd have to look the part number up and see what it is. Another Holley sensor for oil pressure. Same deal. This one, I bought an extension harness and it plugged right in because they used the same plug, I believe, as a factory LS style oil pressure sensor. So I think this one might have just plugged right in. Now, the other day, this is another thing somebody said, the firing order. When I was talking about the sequence of when these are going to fire, it's going to come from these inputs. The camshaft dictates the firing order, always. I know that. Some people might not know that. However, this harness doesn't know that. The computer doesn't know that. And the computer is programmed to sequence those coils when it picks up off of this trigger or that cam sync, depending on how you do it, because there's a couple ways you could do it. But it's going to fire off of this crank position sensor here. That's why it's got all the notches. A computer's going to read all them notches and it's going to fire in sequence. So when it does, by programming these coils, before it would not have had the right firing order. It would have been way off. Way off. So this thing would not have ran. It would have backfired. It would have popped. It would have banged. It would have did everything that I do not want it to do. So I had to go into the computer and rewrite the firing order to a small block forward firing order, for one, in a sequence of how these, well, are in sequence. In coordinates to spark plugs. So as you can see, this one was 8. Now it's 1. This one was 6. Now it's 2. This one was 4. Now it's 3. This one was 2. Now it's 4. So, LS, because 2, 4, 6, 8 on one bank, I would have had to cross wires to make this work. So this one would have had to go to cylinder 2. 4 would have had to run all the way into the corner. No, I'm sorry. 4 would have went here. 4 would have went here. 6 would have had to go all the way to the corner. Up there. That's 5, 6. So 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one would have had to run all the way back air. This one up air. This one's 7. So this one would have went that way. 5 would have went that way. This one was 3, so it would have went this way. This one was 1, so it would have went all the way up there. So now they go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no wires running all over the place. Everything's nicely ran to its bank. So this is my left bank. Well, passenger side bank, driver side bank. If you're looking from the front, it'd be left, right. But realistically, this is the left bank, this is the right bank. Always go by when you're sitting in the car, left and right. Driver, passenger. So, hopefully I cleared the air on that, if anybody was confused on that. And if that needs a further explanation, then I can take it further if it needs to go. If that's a little confusing, I'll make a video just on that if you need me to. However, I can make them things fire however I want when it picks up off of these teeth on this sensor. So, the cam dictates the firing order to the engine. That's how it runs. But when these fire, it's off of that wheel, and with the computer it tells the coils which ones to fire because of that wheel and what's programmed in that laptop right there. Okay? Hopefully I cleared that up. Let's go into further detail. This is a stock bottom end 302. It has steel heads on it. They're E7 heads that were ported by my father. Got GT40 sized valves in them. They were milled. It's got an Anderson camshaft and 51 cam in it. And the short block looks like it came out of the ocean, or did, before we sanded it with a maroon pad. I think we used maybe like 80 or 120 grit sandpaper, WD-40, and probably PB Blaster. I notched the pistons myself with a drill and a cookie wheel and a couple deburring bits to widen the eyebrow. I have photos of that. Engine's been around for a little while in our possession, or mine. When I say ours, I mean mine and my dad's, because it was in his car for a little bit. So, that's pretty much sums it up. It's got T5 in it, G-Force T5. It's face plated. 430 gears, 8.8 rear. It's a bunch of thrown together junk. Transmission I put together. I got it in pieces. It's Carlos Sobrino's old transmission. That's pretty much it. I want to try to, I think, put it on methanol because I don't have an intercooler. And if I figured stuff out right, I should have enough injector, I should have enough fuel pump. So all that stuff should be good. I gotta look into it and see if I gotta change anything as far as like my fuel filters or anything like that. But as far as I know, it should be fine with what I got. So I'm gonna try to put on methanol, I'm pretty sure, after I check a few things. For now, I might just do E just to get the car out there and see what it goes. And then if I need methanol, maybe I'll put it on methanol. But we'll see. Right now, I gotta get it running still. So I still got a couple more things I got to order for it. Some fittings that go in the intake. I got to wire my. I keep forgetting to do that. My air fuel to the for the wideband on the ECU, so that way I can read air fuel, and that way it's tied to my wideband. Trans fluid, stupid stuff. So it's getting there. Gotta figure out alternator, things like that, like how I'm gonna do all that. Might just use the way it's mounted. I really don't like how it's mounted, but I might just keep it and use it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I gotta get headlight bulbs. Keep forgetting to do that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So there it is, guys. That's pretty much the rundown on it. Car's a mess right now. I gotta clean it out. So it might take a day to do that. Feels good to be making some headway on it, though. One less thing out of my mind is this fuel system, because I was really worried about that fuel system doing exactly what it did, to be honest. I was like, man, this thing's probably going to leak all over my luck, and it did. But everything seems to be dry now, so I am now going to clean up, which means I'm going to go inside, wash my hands, and go to bed, basically. Get changed into some clean clothes that aren't gas washed. Yeah, so you guys just see this video, and some of y'all understand what went into my night, but you guys don't know that I was up till 6:30 in the morning painting my bedroom on top of it, and then put a coat on before I came out here. So, plus all the other crap I did today, which that's going to be another video. So I went and got some parts. Not for this car, though. So I'll make a video on that in the future. That's going to be something kind of special. So stay tuned for that. But that's going to be a project in the upcoming future that has been sitting a very long time, and I'm excited about. So I will go over that in another video. That being said, stay tuned. Tune in next time. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching, following, your comments, all that. And catch you guys on next video. See you around.